What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone had a fun and exciting Labor Day weekend. Let me know where you're tuning in from, what state. Hopefully you're spending some time with family and friends and enjoying the last weekend, official weekend of summer. Let me know where you're tuning in from, city, state. Always like to know where you're tuning in from. And if you are tuning in from outside of the country, let me know what country you're tuning in from, what region, province. Love to know when our international viewers are tuning in. Thank you to all of you. So I'm going to get right to it. A lot of people have been asking about the article our team posted from the incident in Rochester, New York. I've been to Rochester, New York, growing up in the Northeast, and what happened there, ironically, I don't feel like it got too much media attention. I didn't know about it, and considering that I'm in the Northeast for the most part, I do travel quite a bit, but no one seemed to have heard about this. I sure as heck didn't. So when it was sent to me, I figured that it had happened in Portland, or, one of these cities where there's absolute craziness and they're burning the place down. I was kind of surprised to see that this crazy incident happened in Rochester. So, long and short of it, there's been some, let's call them riots in Rochester, stemming from a man back in March, a black man that was arrested by the police, and he ultimately died in the hospital, I believe, 7 days later. A little bit of a crazy story, but it was someone that, was not well mentally and had some issues, and that's a whole nother story. But anyway, this happened back in March. Okay, so if anyone is from the Rochester, New York area and can add in any insight into what is going on there, please comment below, because the people who are on the ground there, of course, have the best information. I was sent this story, had no idea about it. I looked into it. I fortunately have some friends who are police officers still in that area, and I asked them about it, and they gave me insight that I was blown away. They said essentially what is happening there is not on the news at all. It's not on the media for whatever reasons, and we can get into that. That's a whole nother conversation. But there are restaurants where they had along this one street, and there's restaurants, people walk to, bars, things like that. And apparently the protesters or I call them protesters, but I know once it turns violent, it's rioters, and people are like, well, they're not protesters, they're rioting. Okay, so whatever they are, okay, they're there, and they apparently have been there for quite a few nights. And one of the restaurants there, the owners of the restaurant actually said to, and of course, these are people who are chanting Black Lives Matter. They're wearing the Black Lives Matter garb and, shirts and hats that say Black Lives Matter, and they're holding signs that say Black Lives Matter. And I only say that because there's a lot of these incidents that are happening, that crazy stuff is happening, and people are blaming it on the Black Lives Matter people. But in a lot of these incidents, these are not Black Lives Matter protesters, so out of fairness, right? We want fairness, right? We don't like to label all cops as bad. Let's not label all people of a certain protesting group bad, right? So I've seen that. I've seen people point the finger of blame at Black Lives Matter for certain incidents, and I'm watching the video and I'm seeing a whole bunch of white people dressed in black with black hoodies on and black masks on, and they might be more like ANTIFA kind of crazy people. And I didn't see anything associated with Black Lives Matter, but of course people are trying to blame Black Lives Matter, so that's not fair, people, so let's be fair. So anyway, this is Black Lives Matter. There are people holding signs that say Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter shirts and face masks and all that stuff. Although there were some face masks missing. Crazy. Okay. So, and the story is posted on our Facebook page now for all the people, and it's a nice middle ground story, which I like, because I don't like the news outlets that they're so far left and they lean the article one way, or they're so far right. I like the middle ground news outlet. So it was pretty neutral. But what happened was one of these restaurants saw that the protesters were out there night after night, and I guess the owners of the restaurant said to the protesters, to Black Lives Matter, if you guys need to take a break, if you guys need to catch your breath for a minute, get a drink of water, you're welcome to come to our restaurant. So that was, an act of kindness, okay? Well, just a few hours later, a mob of these Black Lives Matter protesters, and they are Black Lives Matter because they were chanting it as they moved into the restaurant. And then in the video you see, which is linked in the article we posted, a group of these protesters, now I will call them rioters, because now they enter the restaurant and they start knocking people's food off the tables. They start pushing people, they start flipping tables, they start pulling tablecloths, and they start saying things like, you're done here, this is our place now, we're taking over, and things like that. Some craziness. You guys can watch the video and listen for yourself, right? And it's absolute madness. So now all these people are in this restaurant dining, and from what I heard, the people in the restaurant dining there, they had the protesters just a few feet away from them on the street, and many of the people in the restaurant that were dining were actually supporters of the protest. They said, we believe what these people are protesting, and we're in support of it. So they were just trying to have a meal with their family and friends. Well, these protesters came in shouting, screaming, we're taking over, and we want what's ours, and all this stuff, and destroy the restaurant and throw people's food. People who are dining are seen getting up and running because they don't know what's going to happen next. It is absolutely one of the craziest videos I've seen. I mean, I've seen videos of people burning storefronts and burning cars in parking lots, and I've seen it all, and it's all crazy. I mean, we all seen the video of the people lighting the cars on fire in the church parking lot, and the church on their marquee says Black Lives Matter, so obviously it's a church that supports Black Lives Matter, and there's men and women in Black Lives Matter t-shirts lighting cars on fire. So that's crazy. But this was something that was a direct, what I like to call an attack, where you have innocent people who were probably in support of your cause. Now you come in, you attack them while they're eating a meal with their friends and family, throw their food, throw their tables, throw their tablecloths, send them running out of fear, and people were just in complete shock. Now, the irony of it is they go in and they do this to a restaurant that just hours earlier was saying, come in and take a breather, come in and, have a drink here and relax, and we welcome you in here, Black Lives Matter, and the protesters. It was kind of crazy to see that. And a lot of people who sent me the video said, can you believe this is happening? Can you believe something like this is happening in the United States? And of course I could believe it. I mean, what can't you not believe, right? How can you not believe it? There are people who took over a section of a U.S. city for quite a few days, weeks. They put up a fence, set up a perimeter. They had people with guns and weapons inside that area. Women were sexually assaulted. Someone was killed. So yeah, I mean, almost nothing is beyond belief right now. So yeah, I believe that protesters turned rioters entered a public restaurant and started causing chaos and inciting violence. I believe that. It's not unbelievable. Now, what I will say is there are many places in this country that would never happen. I've been to play. Fortunately for my business, am blessed to travel around the country. And I know quite a few states where that would never happen because the people in the restaurant would not allow it to happen. I'm talking about the patrons. I'm sure maybe the restaurant owners, but in Rochester, New York, people just had to go run for their lives, and no one stood up to these bullies that came in and wrecked the place. Now, I can understand you're marching for a cause. I can understand that you're angry. I can understand that you're upset. I completely get that. But you're going to now go into a public restaurant that was kind enough to you to say, we're going to be able to give you some drink and give you a place to rest, okay? And now you're going to go in and you're going to destroy that restaurant and now hurt that business owner's ability to earn income, because all those people had food and whatever in front of them. And of course, they all ran out, and then that shut that place down for the rest of the night. So you just hurt that business owner's ability to make money. So if that business owner was on your side, Black Lives Matter, where do you think he or she stands now? Do you think they are on your side, or now are they maybe thinking, maybe I was on the wrong side of this? Because actions like that are the things that are the tipping point that change people's mind, right? So if you want people on your side, destroying a restaurant and hurting the business and hurting the patrons of a business that was supporting you, well, that's the best way to get them to not support you, all right? So you got to think with your head here if you're going to do that, all right? You're doing things now where you are shifting the viewpoint and you're shifting the paradigm of the people that might sympathize with you. Now you're pushing them by your violent actions to the other side. I'm pretty sure that is not what you're looking for the people who are part of that movement, okay? It's sad, it's scary, and it's disgusting. Okay, so a lot of people said, hey, you're a police officer, you do a lot of tactical training, self-defense, protection work. What do we do in a situation like that, where we're in a restaurant, we're with our family, we're with our friends, and now these rioters and protesters come in, all right? Or we're dining outside, or we're somewhere public, and these people come in and start inciting violence, right? And start attacking people. What do we do? So the most important thing, if you're in a place where you are not armed, right? So there are many states where you can't concealed carry. Now, like I said before, this would never happen in a state like, let's say, Texas, right? Because if they did this, the people in Texas would take their weapons out, take care of these people, and they would just go back to eating their food, right? They would probably just leave the bodies on the ground, right? Because people in Texas don't mess around, right? So they were able to do this because of where they were located, right? So it's no surprise that when you see these things happening, they're only happening in certain places, right? Like, rioters stopping cars that are trying to drive down the street, people, men, women trying to just go to work, and rioters are getting in front of their car, blocking their ability to drive down the road, pounding on their windows, breaking their taillights, doing stuff like that. You don't see that happening in Texas, right? There's a reason why that's not happening in states like Texas, because people have guns in their car, and if you do that, you're going to get shot, right? So people know that, right? So, but you go to states like, Seattle, Washington, you go to Seattle, Washington, you go to Portland, Oregon, and cities like that, states like that, and of course you're going to have this craziness, right? So that is why you don't see that. That's why people are like, why is it happening here and why is it not happening there? That is why, people, okay? Concealed carry. That's the reason. I'm not supporting, this is not a 2A conversation. This isn't pro Second Amendment, any kind of, it's none of that. I'm just giving you the facts, right? I'm just giving you the facts. The fact of the matter is, people who might have a gun on them are people that are going to deter crime, right? So, question was, what do we do if we don't have a weapon on us and we find ourselves in that situation? We're with our family, we're with our children, whatever it may be. Because some of this stuff is happening in broad daylight, public places. I tell people one of the most important things you can do is plan your avenue of escape right when you get there, okay? So, what's the avenue of escape? Most people, they go into a restaurant, or a lot of places are doing outside dining right now because you can't have people inside because of the COVID-19 restrictions, okay? So, but most people just walk in and they wait to be seated and they sit down just wherever they are seated. They don't request a certain spot, right? They just sit down wherever they are and they just go ahead and they eat their meals, right? That's it. So, when something happens, like some kind of craziness occurs, they don't have a plan in place for where am I going to go? How am I going to get out? How do I protect myself? How do I protect my family? So because you don't have a plan, the default is freak the hell out and not know what to do, and you kind of freeze, right? So in the video of what happened in Rochester, you see these people are coming in and they're hitting people, they're knocking food, they're throwing tables, they're doing all this stuff. And you see people are in the restaurant, they're just sitting there. They are literally just sitting there like shocked at what is happening, and they're not even moving. And as I watch, I'm sitting here wondering, like, what were these people thinking? It was like the danger was coming closer to them, right? And they didn't move, they didn't get up, they just, so what, listen, wherever you go with your family or your friends, right? It's okay if you ask for a table in a certain spot so you could see the entrance of where people are coming in, okay? If you are a protector of your family, whether you are a father, whether you are a mother, whether you're a single parent, whether you're taking your nieces and nephews out, okay? Have the mindset to, at the minimum, do some work when you arrive to look around, okay? Where is the entrance to the kitchen, okay? So you know that if you can get to the entrance to the kitchen, usually there's doors that go like this, right? And you see the waiters and the servers and busboys and whoever going in and out, right? Look at that door, because if someone comes in the front door and you can't get to the front door, okay, you want to make sure that you can get to that door, because there's an exit out the back of the kitchen or out the back of the restaurant where they receive their deliveries and where maybe employees come in, right? So be mindful of that. Plan your escape. Is there a back door to the restaurant? All right? An emergency exit, whatever it may be. Take literally 15 seconds to look, okay? 15 seconds. That's literally all it takes. And now when you sit down, you position yourself in a way that when you are looking at your family and friends, you can see the front door and you can see if there's some crazy people coming in the door, right? If you see some activity start up outside or nearby and you see the tension growing, that's a moment to say it's time to leave, okay? So you tell your family, when I say it's time to go, don't look at me and be like, what are you talking about? Wait, hold on. What's going on? No. Get up, let's go. Everyone with you should get up and follow you. There should be no questioning of it. There should be no, wait a second, what's going on? What's happening? Because they don't know what's happening because they're sitting with their back and you're the watcher, okay? So you got to let them know. If there is ever a time where I say, do this and do it now, you do it now, right? And you move. You get through that door into the kitchen and you go out the back. You get to that side entrance you saw and you get out. Fire alarm sounds when you push. Sometimes you see that thing, it says do not push on the door, fire alarm will sound. Guess what? If some stuff's going down, that's where you hit that door and get out. Do not sit there and be like, wait, what's going on? Hold on, wait, is this going to get worse? It's not going to get better. Don't worry about your bill. If you're a good person, you will go back a couple of days later and let the people know that you had to run out because some crazy people were attacking the restaurant and you had some food and you're there to pay your bill. You're not looking to skip out on the bill, okay? So don't worry about that. Get out, get to where you can get to safety, okay? Keep in mind, if you have a vehicle, make sure your vehicle is parked in a position and in a place where you can quickly get to it. All right. So if you pull up to a restaurant and you see a large gathering of people and they're kind of near the entrance of where you're parking, maybe park somewhere else. Don't park in the parking lot of the restaurant. If you see protesters and people there, park on the street, down the block, and then walk a block. Okay. You don't have to park right in the parking lot of the restaurant because you might get blocked in. And you don't want that. Park or drop your family off, go park down the street, all right? And then you walk back to the restaurant and you meet with them. And then you tell them to move so you could sit in the right spot at the restaurant, okay? So that's it. So as you're eating your food, be mindful. Don't just have blinders on. Keep checking that door. Keep picking those eyes up, checking that door every few minutes, you know. If you see something going on outside the window or outside where you're sitting outside, just keep an eye on it. And use your instincts to move before it happens. Don't wait till the event occurs. Move before the event occurs. And if nothing happens, well, so be it. Maybe you skirted something. You didn't skirt something. Make sure you move before. Don't wait for it to happen, okay? That's it. That's a basic thing. So all the people who are asking me as a tactical trainer, as a firearms instructor, what's the most important thing? That is the most important thing. Your situational awareness and your avenue of escape. Because you don't want to engage with people, right? Even if you're carrying a weapon, right? You don't want to shoot somebody, right? Because in this day and age, someone can come in screaming Black Lives Matter and they could literally be beating people, burning people, shooting people, Molotov cocktail, all this stuff. And if some reason you shoot them, guess what? You're going to jail, right? Because there's just craziness, right? Right? It's just crazy. So escape the situation, right? If you are in a place where you are responsibly carrying a firearm, you're allowed to carry a firearm. And now you are cornered and you are in fear for your life and the life of your family members. And you feel like you are at risk of imminent injury or death. At that point, you have a weapon on you. Right? And that is a whole nother video that I can speak to. And we're going to get into that in the training nexus, the 221B training nexus that I've created just for police and responsible civilians who want to know how to be a better asset and how to survive conflicts. That's why I created the training nexus. None of this getting taken down by different platforms, right? This is a private platform based on the knowledge of not just me, but some of the top people out there. So just how to survive for cops and for responsible civilians, okay? So that's why I created that. Now, those of you who carry weapons, be mindful. You have to be responsible with that weapon. Remember, if you are going to pull the trigger on that weapon, you got to be responsible for what's behind the person that you are shooting and all that stuff, right? But like I said, it's a whole different video, so we're not going to get into that. I'm talking about you're not going to get engaged with the conflict, right? You are trying to escape. That's how you escape, okay? So do that next time you go to a restaurant or you sit down somewhere. Just 15 seconds. Look around, take a peek, maybe excuse yourself from the table and say, I'm going to go wash my hands. There's Corona. So I want to get the Corona off my hands. And take a walk to the restroom. And as you walk to the restroom, notice the different exits. Notice the back door. Notice where the kitchen is, where the servers are going in and out. And take a peek in. Look through those doors as they're swinging, or sometimes there's an opening where you could see the people cooking, the chefs, and take a look and see if you see that door, because there's a door back there, right? They're not all going through the front. There's a door back there. Get your eyes on that door, okay? Is it a handle? Is it a push? Is it a lever? Get your eyes on that door. And that's it. Something goes down, grab everyone hook up, right? Hook up is just, everyone grabs a piece of fabric of the other person, right? So you're grabbing a piece of fabric over here and pulling the family member, and someone is grabbing a piece of fabric over here, and everyone's just in a line moving out quickly, right out that door, and get out of there. Get out and create distance, okay? Because you don't know if people have weapons and going to start shooting or whatever, okay? So some pretty basic stuff, go into it a little bit deeper, but I hope maybe someone watching this video can just learn and, God forbid, get into the situation. There's a lot of craziness out there. You can learn from it, okay? Once you get outside, like I said. Let me add this. Once you get outside, if you look at your vehicle and you can't safely get to your vehicle, don't be locked in on, oh my God, I got to get to my car, okay? A lot of people do that. Like they feel like if they can't get to their car, they can't do anything. Wrong. Leave your car. It might be there in the morning, or it might be there a few hours later when everything calms down, or it might be burnt to a crisp, okay? But if you exit that restaurant or that location and you look at your car and it's surrounded by crazy people yelling and chanting, okay? It's okay. Say, all right, we got to leave the car. We're going this way, away from the crowd, and go down the road, call a friend, call a family member, call an Uber, call a Lyft, whoever you want to call, and just get out of there. Just get out of there, because if things are escalating to the point where people are now overtaking the restaurant that you were sitting in, it's probably going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. Leave your car, okay? If you're parked far away, get to your car safely. If not, leave that car. Leave it. Believe me. Go back to it later, because I know of incidents where people got out of the danger and they tried to get into their car to get away, and they found more danger, okay? No good, all right? So remember that. All right, hope everyone can get something from this. Share this video if you find it important. Share it with your family members, young family members, older family members, whoever. And let me know what you think in the comments. Like I said, I try to stay in the middle here. I'm not to this, this far left, go Biden, Harris, and over here, MAGA. This is just in the middle, knowledge and safety for every human being. We all bleed red, right? We all bleed red, right? I don't care about, I hate politics, and they're all liars, right? They're all liars, and we need to just focus on taking care of ourselves and each other, okay? Don't expect other people to take care of you, right? Because everyone knows on both sides, they have their own agendas, right? So my focus is help you, right? Okay. All right. And remember, people are being attacked while they're eating dinner. Crazy stuff. Lighting cars on fire in churches. Craziness. Don't forget to wear your mask. That's the most important thing. Although politicians who can close down hair salons can go in and not wear a mask and say it's okay, and then they say they were set up. It's a setup. It is crazy. It's a setup. I was set up. They owe me an apology for not wearing my mask. This is some good stuff. It's like a TV show. All right, wear your mask or whatever.